Charlotte or Raleigh? Pick wrong, and it's not just I'll move again next year. It's overpaying for a house. It's landing in the wrong job market, and it's waking up a year from now wondering why your life just doesn't fit right. I've lived in both cities, not just visited, lived for years. And today, I'm giving you the real numbers, the real version, and the real lifestyle differences, and by the end, my honest opinion on which one's actually better. And more importantly, which one is better for you. If this is your first time on the channel, hey, I'm Daniel Morrobel, realtor/broker with eXp Realty, based here in Charlotte, North Carolina, servicing both North and South Carolina. Quick ask, if this video is useful to you, hit that like button right now. It honestly helps more people trying to figure out the exact same thing you are trying to find out in this video. One more thing before we dive in. If you're actually weighing these two cities right now and don't want to wait until the end of the video, the link's right below. Grab time on my calendar and let's talk through your specific situation. All right, enough talking, let's get into it. All right, so number one, let's zoom out a little bit because Charlotte's the biggest city in North Carolina, sitting right around 886,000 people in the city proper, according to the latest census-based estimates. Raleigh comes in a lot smaller, closer to 470,000 people. That's not a small gap. That's two different worlds. Charlotte feels like a major metro, big city energy, more traffic, more construction, more happening all the time. Raleigh feels a little different. It's part of the triangle, which is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill. Three cities, three completely different identities, but one region. It's got a slower, more congealed rhythm to it, growing fast, don't get me wrong, but it still holds on that big little town feel, even as population grows. Now, living in Charlotte, I noticed how much of a daily life revolves around Uptown, even when you're nowhere near it. It's the reference point for everything. Where you work, where you go out, even how you give someone directions. Living in Raleigh felt different in a way that took me a little while to put my finger on. There wasn't one center of gravity pulling everything towards it. Life was kind of split more evenly across the whole triangle region. And honestly, that changes how connected you feel to any one specific place. But here's the takeaway. If you want more energy, more variety, more movement, Charlotte's going to give you that feel like any bigger town does. More dynamic choice. If you want a smaller, slower pace, more predictability, Raleigh's probably more your speed. But be honest with yourself, which one you actually are, not which one sounds better to say out loud. Know yourself before you know the city. All right, so number two, and let's talk money because this is where the decision gets real quickly. Here's the truth, and I want to be straight with you because a lot of comparison content oversells this gap. As of 2026, Charlotte's median home price sits around $412,000 to $435,000. And Raleigh's sits around $426,000 to $436,000. That's close, really close. These two markets aren't the gap a lot of people assume they are. If someone tells you Charlotte's dramatically cheaper than Raleigh right now, they're working off old numbers, not what's actually happening right now in 2026. Here's what actually differs. Charlotte gives you more inventory, more construction, more price points to choose from. Raleigh runs tighter, especially around Cary and Apex. More competition, higher demand, tied directly to that research triangle job pool. Days on market run shorter there in the hottest pockets, which means less time to think and less room to negotiate. Now, put plainly, when inventory's tight, buyers get rushed, and rushed buyers make emotional decisions. And emotional decisions in real estate cost you real money. Charlotte's looser inventory genuinely buys you more time to think, more room to negotiate. That's not nothing. That's potentially tens of thousands of dollars staying in your pocket instead of getting bidded away. And here's the piece that actually matters more than either city's median price. It's not about which city is cheaper on paper, it's about what you're actually getting for that number. So let's just say a $420,000 home in Charlotte and a $430,000 home in Raleigh can look completely different. Like different lot sizes, different ages, different proximity to things that you actually care about. Compare the specific homes, not just the citywide medians, because the medians barely tell you anything useful on their own. All right, so number three, which is the job market. Because affordability doesn't matter if there's no opportunity behind it. Raleigh's economy runs on tech, biotech, and research. Anchored by the research triangle, universities like Duke, UNC, NC State. Companies like Apple, Google, Epic Games, and a long list of biotech firms have all planted flags here. If you're in tech or pharma or research, Raleigh's a genuine powerhouse. Now, Charlotte runs a bit differently. It's the second largest banking hub in the entire country, and things like finance and corporate headquarters right along with it. New companies relocate here all the time. I've covered more than one of those announcements on this very channel. But here's the takeaway. Raleigh's more specialized. Charlotte's more diversified. If you're not locked into one specific industry, Charlotte opens up more doors. If your career is biotech or research specifically, Raleigh might be the stronger, more direct path. And honestly, for the specific career, it's hard to argue against it. One more thing worth mentioning, especially if you're relocating with a partner or moving as a household. Two-income households benefit more from Charlotte's diversity because the odds that both careers find a home here go up when the local economy isn't leaning on just one industry. Quick pause halfway through this. If you're seriously torn between these two cities right now, don't wait for the end of this video. Links right below. So grab a time on my calendar and let's talk through your actual real life situation. And while we're talking money, here's something I tell every single client, no matter which of these two cities they're leaning towards. Get pre-approved before you tour a single home, not after. Before. It tells you your real number and saves you from falling in love with a house you can't actually afford right now, and makes you a serious buyer the second the right home shows up. One step, but that one step saves you an enormous amount of wasted time. All right, so let's keep on going. All right, so number 4, schools are a huge factor for a lot of you. Raleigh's got a strong overall reputation, consistent ratings, highly educated population, a truly solid public school system. But here's what I need you to actually hear. There's no perfect city for schools. Absolutely none, anywhere. Charlotte's got excellent schools. Raleigh's got average ones, and everything in between, in both cities. I say this to every single client who asks me which city has better schools. That question on its own doesn't have a real answer. The real question is which exact address, because I've shown 2 homes 3 streets apart in the same zip code that fed into 2 completely different school ratings. That's not a Charlotte problem or a Raleigh problem. That's how school zoning works everywhere. Raleigh tends to be more consistent overall. Charlotte has more variation, but also more upside if you're strategic about location. This was never which city wins conversation. It's a which exact address conversation. And that's exactly why I verify the actual assigned school for every single client, every single time, before we ever even write an offer, if school zoning is important to you. All right, so moving on to number 5, which is safety. Big one for everyone, and it's on everyone's mind. Raleigh does run slightly lower on overall crime numbers, but Charlotte's a bigger city, so naturally some raw numbers run a bit higher. That's just what happens when you're comparing a city of 886,000 to a city of 470,000. Here's a truth nobody says out loud enough. Crime isn't a citywide statistic you can actually live by. It's hyperlocal. There are incredibly safe pockets of Charlotte, and there are pockets of Raleigh I wouldn't recommend either. And I've spent enough time in both cities to know that firsthand, not just from a headline. A blanket statement like "this city is safer" answer only gets you so far. What matters is the exact street, the exact neighborhood, not the city name or the welcome sign you see when you walk in. I always tell my clients to pull local police department data for the specific area you're actually considering. That's the number that matters, not a citywide average, or even any of our opinions. That's really just an average of dozens of widely different neighborhoods smashed together into one misleading number. I tell clients that consistently because it's one of the easiest traps to fall into when you're relocating from out of state. You see one number attached to a city name, and it feels like the whole answer, and it's simply not. It's a starting point at best. And the real research happens once you narrow down to a specific neighborhood, not before. All right, so number 6, which is the weather. These 2 cities sit about 2.5 hours apart from each other. And honestly, the weather is more alike than different. Hot, humid summers, mild winters, and real snow is rare in either city. Raleigh sits closer to the coast, so it carries a bit more hurricane exposure. Charlotte sits a little further inland, so storms usually weaker by the time they arrive here. Sometimes you'll watch the radar and be convinced a storm is about to hit, and it ends up being a little drizzle or no more than a cloudy afternoon by the time it actually reaches the city. I personally watched a storm on the radar, and the news looked like it was about to run straight through the city. Red and swirling red, lights over the map, and then step outside to find nothing more than a gray, drizzly afternoon. That inline cushion Charlotte gets is a bigger deal than people realize until they actually live through a storm that was supposed to hit hard, but simply just didn't. Now, neither city deals with tornadoes or earthquakes in any real regular way. No hurricanes barreling straight through either, typically. For most of the country, that alone makes this region one of the easier places to plant roots without worrying about the weather ruining your life or your homeowner's insurance bill climbing every single year because of a storm risk somewhere else in the country. All right, so number 7, here's where I stop giving you your data and just tell you the truth. North Carolina runs a flat income tax of 3.99%, same in both cities. So taxes are basically a wash between them. Not a deciding factor either way. Raleigh is a great fit for a specific kind of person. If you want tech, if you want a quieter environment, if you're fine paying close to the same price for that specific lifestyle, Raleigh can absolutely be the right call. I know people who live there and truly love it. But for most people relocating in 2026, I think Charlotte is the stronger overall choice. More job diversity, more inventory, and more growth, more flexibility. If your career or your life doesn't fit neatly in just one lane. For me, it came down to opportunity and range. Building a career and a business here. I wanted a market with more than just one lane to grow in. Somewhere I wasn't betting my entire livelihood on a single industry staying strong forever. Charlotte's mix of finance, healthcare, and corporate growth gave me that in a way I didn't feel as strongly during my time in Raleigh, even though I honestly enjoyed living there too. I've watched friends thrive in one city who would have felt completely out of place in the other. The right answer has never been about the city. It's always about matching the city to the actual person moving there. Here's what I want you to actually take from this. Picking the wrong city doesn't blow up your life overnight. It shows up slowly as financial stress, as a job market that doesn't fit, as a nagging feeling that something's just off, even when you can't quite explain why. By the time you notice it, it's a lot harder to undo. You're already tied into a mortgage, a job, a lease, a whole life. You've started building somewhere that just doesn't fit quite right. So do the homework now and not later. You'll thank me for it. So in conclusion, the great question, Charlotte or Raleigh? Raleigh wins if you're deep in tech or research, and if you want that quieter academic pace. Charlotte wins on diversity of opportunity, inventory, growth, and flexibility. And for most people relocating right now, that's usually the stronger overall pick. But the real answer is still your answer, built around your career, your life, not a ranking that ignores your specific situation. So I've personally watched a lot of relocation content over the years, and most of it hands you a winner in the first 30 seconds and spends the rest of the video justifying it. I don't want to make that video. I wanted to make the one where you actually understand why, so that whichever city you land on, you land there with your eyes open. Not just because a stranger on the internet told you to. So here's what to do next. Links right below this video. Grab a spot on my calendar and let's figure out which one of these cities actually fits your life from someone who's actually lived in both, not just visited either one. And if you don't have a lender yet, I can absolutely connect you with one I trust free of charge. And like always, thank you so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.